The phone call came while I was reviewing acquisition documents. My mother's voice, clipped and dismissive. Julia, the club's annual gala is next Saturday. I need to be direct, you won't be attending. It's members and their accomplished guests only. You understand. I understood perfectly. My parents had been members of Riverside Country Club for 20 years. The annual gala was their social Super Bowl, where they showcased success and connections. And I didn't make the cut. Any particular reason? Julia, please. You work in real estate. You drive that old car. You don't present the image we need at club events. Your brother Michael made partner at his firm. We want to celebrate actual achievements. Actual achievements. At 32, my mother had just informed me I had none worth celebrating. Understood. Enjoy your gala. I hung up. My assistant David knocked and entered with a folder. The Riverside Country Club acquisition closes Friday. Legal needs your final signature. I took the folder, flipping through the purchase agreement. Riverside Country Club, 18 holes, Olympic pool, tennis courts, ballroom. And 300 members who had no idea their exclusive sanctuary had just been sold to my private equity firm. The announcement goes public when? Monday morning. New signage goes up Sunday at dawn. That's when members will see the ownership change. Sunday. The day after my family's gala, where I wasn't allowed because I wasn't accomplished enough. And the membership terms review? David smiled. Your legal team finished. Under acquisition terms, all existing memberships are subject to review and renewal at the new owner's discretion. I set down the folder. My parents had excluded me from their club event because I embarrassed them. Meanwhile, I just bought the club and their membership was now subject to my approval. Schedule membership review meetings for 2 weeks out. Every member, no exceptions. Even your parents? Especially my parents. Friday afternoon, I signed the final transfer documents. As of 5 p.m., I owned Riverside Country Club, the grounds where my family had spent decades building their social network, the ballroom where tomorrow's gala would celebrate their status. My phone buzzed. Text from Michael. Mom said you're not coming to the gala. Everything okay? I typed back. Everything's fine. Work commitment. Have fun. Saturday evening, I drove past Riverside at 7 p.m. The parking lot was full of luxury vehicles. Guests in formal wear walked toward the brightly lit clubhouse, laughing with the easy confidence of people who belonged. I parked across the street in my modest Honda, the old car my mother had mentioned with disdain, and watched. Through the ballroom windows I could see the gala in full swing. My parents holding court among their social circle. A maintenance truck pulled into the service entrance. Right on schedule. The crew would spend the next hours installing new signage throughout the property. Updated entrance signs, new plaques, refreshed branding. All featuring the new owner's name, Julia Chin, CEO of Chin Property Group. By dawn, every member would know exactly who owned their exclusive sanctuary. Sunday morning arrived with golden sunshine. I dressed in business casual, the comfortable, practical clothes my mother despised, and drove to the club at 6:30 a.m. The new sign was impossible to miss. Elegant brass letters reading Riverside Country Club, a Chin Property Group community. Below it, under new management. The first member to see it stopped dead, staring. Within minutes, a small crowd had gathered, pointing, making calls. I walked through the entrance at 7 a.m., nodding to the bewildered reception staff. Good morning. I'm Julia Chin, the new owner. Conference room in 30 minutes. I'll brief the management team. The young woman at reception gaped. You're the new owner? But we thought. My investment company. Conference room, 30 minutes. I walked through the clubhouse, noting the new plaques, the updated signage. Everything professionally done, clearly indicating change in ownership. The dining room was filling with Sunday brunch crowd. I recognized several of my parents' friends, saw them notice the new signage, watched confusion spread. My parents weren't there yet. They typically arrived later, after sleeping off the previous night's celebration. The management meeting was efficient. I introduced myself, outlined plans for facility upgrades, and explained the membership review process. Every member would receive notice this week requiring them to reapply. What about legacy memberships? The membership director asked nervously. Everyone reapplies. Legacy status means nothing if the member hasn't contributed meaningfully. This club has been operating as an exclusive social club for people who want to feel important. We're transitioning to a true community facility that values actual participation. The meeting ended at 8:30. I walked back to the dining room, ordered coffee and waited. My parents arrived at 9 a.m., still glowing from last night's gala. My mother wore a designer outfit. My father had his country club casual look perfected. They walked toward their usual table, not yet noticing the signage. Then someone at a nearby table pointed toward the entrance. My mother's expression shifted from confused to alarmed. They approached the reception desk, my mother's voice carrying, "What is this about new ownership? Who authorized changing our club signage?" The receptionist responded calmly. The club was acquired Friday by Chin Property Group. All members will receive formal notification this week, along with membership renewal applications. Renewal applications? My father's voice rose. We've been members for 20 years. We don't need to reapply. Under new ownership, all memberships are subject to review and renewal. I stood up from my table and walked toward them. "Hello, Mom. Dad. Enjoying Sunday brunch." They turned, identical expressions of shock on their faces. "Julia? What are you doing here? This is members only." "I'm aware. I'm also the new owner, so I think I qualify." I gestured toward the entrance sign. "Chin Property Group. That's my company. I acquired Riverside Country Club Friday afternoon." The silence was absolute. Nearby tables had gone quiet. My mother's face went from confused to pale to flushed. You bought the club? That's impossible. You can't afford." "I don't work in real estate, Mom. I own a commercial property acquisition firm. Riverside has been financially struggling for years. The board was desperate to sell. I made them an offer they couldn't refuse." "But we thought you were barely getting by. You drive that old car. Like someone who doesn't waste money on expensive clothes to impress people at a country club?" Turns out not spending money on luxury vehicles means I had capital to invest in actual assets. Like this club. My father found his voice. "The board would have consulted membership before selling." "Before selling to someone you excluded from your gala last night because I wasn't accomplished enough? Someone you've spent years treating as an embarrassment." Michael appeared from the dining room. "Jules? You bought the club? Seriously? Seriously. Closed Friday. Spent last night having new signage installed while you were celebrating at the gala I wasn't allowed to attend." "Oh my God," he said quietly. "Mom, you told her she wasn't accomplished enough. And she owns the building you were celebrating in." My mother looked like she might faint. Several members were openly staring now. "Julia, we need to discuss this privately," my father said. "Why? You excluded me publicly. Told me I wasn't accomplished enough for members and their accomplished guests. Seems fair to have this conversation in the same public setting where you've spent years showcasing your social status." I turned to address the watching crowd. "Good morning, everyone. I'm Julia Chin, your new owner. You'll all receive membership renewal applications this week. I'm implementing new standards focused on community contribution rather than social status." I walked toward the exit, then paused. "Oh, and Mom, Dad? Your renewal application will be processed just like everyone else's. No special treatment for legacy members. See you at your review meeting in 2 weeks." The fallout was immediate and spectacular. By noon, my phone was flooded with messages from relatives, family, friends, club members. My mother called 16 times. I didn't answer. Michael texted, "That was the most badass thing I've ever witnessed. Mom and Dad are losing their minds." The membership renewal process began Monday. Applications went out to all 300 members, requiring information about club participation and community involvement. My parents' application arrived Tuesday. I set it aside, not ready to deal with that particular complication. The club's transformation began immediately. Deferred maintenance projects launched. Staff received raises. New community programs opened the facility to local youth organizations. The exclusivity remained, but the criteria shifted from social status to actual community contribution. 2 weeks later, my parents cornered me at the club during a renovation meeting. My mother looked like she'd aged 5 years. "Julia, we need to talk about our membership application. It's in the queue with everyone else's. But we've been members for 20 years. You can't just..." "I can actually. Everyone reapplies under the same standards. My father stepped forward. We're sorry. About the gala, about everything. We were wrong. But this is our life. Our friends are here. Your friends you valued more than your own daughter, I said quietly. Dad, you told me I didn't have actual achievements worth celebrating. While I was building a company successful enough to buy the club where you were celebrating. We didn't know. You didn't ask. You saw modest living and assumed failure. My mother's eyes filled with tears. What do we need to do? To keep our membership. Fill out the application honestly. Demonstrate actual community contribution. Show up to your review meeting prepared to discuss why you deserve to remain members. Their review meeting happened last. They sat across from me in the conference room looking smaller somehow. I'd reviewed their application. 20 years of membership, but actual community contribution? Volunteer work? Almost nothing. Your application is weak, I said directly. You've treated this club as a social stage for 2 decades. However, I'm approving your membership renewal. With conditions. Conditions. You'll volunteer for community outreach. You'll mentor newer members. You'll treat staff with respect. And you'll stop using this club as a measure of social superiority. We can do that, my mother said quickly. Julia, thank you. We are sorry. See. You've got a year to prove you mean it. They left looking relieved and chastened. Michael poked his head in. You're nicer than I would have been. Maybe. Or maybe I want to see if they're capable of change. I looked at my brother. Want to grab dinner? Catch up properly? Yeah. I'd like that. And Jules? I'm sorry too. For not pushing back when they excluded you. You're asking now. That's something. We left the club together as the sun set, the facility I now own transforming from exclusive social sanctuary to actual community space. My parents' world had been upended, their assumptions shattered. And I'd done it all while they were celebrating at a gala I wasn't allowed to attend, never knowing the building was already mine. Sometimes the best revenge was just showing up, doing the work and letting your accomplishments speak for themselves. Even when your family decided you had none worth celebrating.